Hi, my name's Allison, and here's a true story about me. I was never what you might call one of the beautiful people, not like my best friend, Shona, who's everything I'm not. While I'm on the plump side, short, mousy, and wear glasses, Shona is tall, blonde, and beautiful. Still, we're good friends, and I try not to let the obvious differences come between us. Every Friday night, a group of us head down to the ice skating rink. To be honest, I'm not much of a skater, and I usually spend more time on the floor than skating. At least it gets me out of the house. Dad has a new girlfriend, Avril, and I don't think she likes me. She's much younger than my dad and always criticizing how I look, which makes me feel worse than ever about myself. Shona is always first onto the ice. She's elegant and spins around like a ballerina. I don't mind. I enjoy people watching. I can see Sam Reeves on the ice. I've had a crush on him for years, but like everyone else, he doesn't seem to notice me. And besides, he has a girlfriend. You see, I'm not a very social person. I have this low self-esteem. I've had a few knockbacks from boys, and these days I'm always wary of opening up to anyone new. Anyway, on this particular night, I sat sipping a Diet Coke from a straw and watching the action when I see Tony Franklin. Now, Tony Franklin is an average-looking guy, but has a reputation with the girls. I've never really thought about him before. My crush on Sam is all-consuming. "Hey, Allison, how's it going?" He flashes me this great big smile, and I suddenly know why so many girls fall for him. He stares into my eyes as if I'm the only girl in the world. Tony starts talking to me, and after my initial shock, I start to loosen up a little. His charm is definitely getting to me. I feel honored that someone is interested in little old me. For once in a long time, I start to feel relaxed, and my defenses start to crumble a little. Later on, me and some of the guys are going to grab a burger. Do you want to come? His request comes out of the blue, and I pinch my hand to check if I'm dreaming. Nope, definitely not dreaming. A boy has just asked me out on a date. Well, sort of. I can feel my heart start to beat a little faster. Well, a lot faster, actually. He might not be Sam Reeves, but he makes me feel special. Perhaps your friend Shona would like to come too? His question is like a slap in the face. So that's it. I should have guessed. Tony's not interested in me at all. He's after Shona. It's silly, but suddenly I feel betrayed. So angry. I'd let my defenses down, allowed a moment of weakness, and had been used. He must think I'm stupid or something. Suddenly, I feel myself standing, which isn't easy when you're wearing ice skating boots, but I try to look as dignified as possible. I don't think I've ever felt as humiliated in my life, not even with my dad's new girlfriend. And in a fit of rage, I throw the Diet Coke straight into his face. "That's what I think of you and your burger. Have a nice time with Shona." I stagger off toward the changing rooms with tears in my eyes. Shona is a good friend and comes to join me in the changing rooms. She asks what's wrong, but I feel so stupid that I don't tell her. It's not her fault that guys prefer her to me. I tell her that I don't feel well, and she walks me home. I see Tony Franklin watching us, and I want to stick 2 fingers up at him. His little plan to use me has backfired tonight. When I get home, I go straight to my room. Dad and Avril are out, as usual. He never went out as much with Mom. Dad's not been the same since Mom died 3 years ago. I think that's about the time I started to pile on the weight. I was so unhappy. Dad was in a mess, too. I wanted him to find someone else, but not someone like Avril. Whenever Avril and I argue, which is most of the time, Dad always takes her side. It's just not fair. I hardly sleep that night, and the sounds of Dad and Avril making out in the next room doesn't help much. Gross. I stay in my room all weekend, moping about. I don't want to go to college on Monday, and I try to keep out of Tony's way. I rush back home from college without waiting for Shona. I don't want to speak to anyone, just want to be safe and on my own again. As soon as I walk into the house, I can tell that something's changed. The living room seems tidier than usual. It takes me a moment to notice. All Mom's pictures have been taken down. All her photos and the ornaments she collected, all gone, as if she had never existed. Avril is sat reading a magazine on the sofa and looks up at me rather triumphantly. You're home early, Allison. I feel the anger start to rise. Where are Mom's photos? She puts down the magazine rather carefully onto the sofa and folds her arms. Your dad and I thought it would be better if we got rid of all the things from the past. A fresh start, you know? I look at her in disbelief. How dare you remove my mother's things? I spit the words out at her. Avril sighs and looks at me with her steely blue eyes. Your dad and I thought it would be for the best. Dad would never agree to this. I shake my head in disbelief. At that moment, Dad comes out of the kitchen and immediately stands with Avril, placing his arms protectively around her. What's going on? He asks as if he doesn't know. Dad, where are all of Mom's things? Now listen, Allie, don't get upset. We just thought it was for the best. How dare you, Dad? How dare you forget about Mom like this? It's all her doing. Where are Mom's things? I point to Avril, my arms shaking with rage. They're in the kitchen, Dad starts. Look, Allie, there's something I need to tell you. Avril and I are getting married. I don't want to hear any more. And I rush into the kitchen and find the boxes of Mom's stuff. Oh, Mom. I cry over the boxes before taking them up to my room. I can't bear the thought of being in the same house as Dad and Avril. And as soon as I have my mom's things stored safely under my bed, I rush back outside. I don't have anywhere to go, but I start walking. Hey, a voice calls after me about halfway down the street. I don't look around. I know that voice. It's Tony. I walk quickly, but soon I hear footsteps running behind to catch up to me. Hey, stop a minute. What's the matter? I don't want to talk to anyone, especially not Troy Franklin, but somehow he keeps up with me. And we walk to the park. I wish he'd leave me alone, but I'm too upset to talk. I make my way down to the lake to sit on a bench, and Tony sits next to me. What are you doing here, Tony? He shrugs. You seemed upset. I was worried about you. I looked up into his eyes. He looked genuinely concerned, but all I can feel is anger and hate. This is the guy that humiliated me. His face is close to mine, and I want to reach out and slap him, but then I have another idea. I put my face up to his and kiss him. If he can use me, then I can use him. I can feel his surprise, but then I feel his arms around me, and his lips embrace mine. His lips are soft and warm, but it wasn't quite the reaction I was expecting. I wanted to shock Tony, and I quickly pull away and stand up. Just leave me alone, Tony. I hate you. I can feel his eyes on me as I walk away. I managed to keep my distance from Tony for a whole week. Occasionally, I see him at college, but I always turn in the opposite direction. The sight of him disturbs me, and somehow I can't forget that kiss. It's about 2 weeks later, on a Saturday night at the local disco, when I bump into him again. I have not spoken a word to my dad or Avril since the day they moved Mom's things, and it's really frosty back home. It's toward the end of the evening when I notice him. I've been sat at the bar with my Diet Coke watching Sam having a row with his girlfriend. I'm so intent on trying to listen to what they're saying over the music that I don't notice Tony lurching toward me. He's drunk. Ellie, he slurs, I've been looking for you. I try and ignore him, but he won't go away and plonks himself on the chair next to me. Will you join me? He sways toward the bar. I cross my arms and scowl at him. Don't you think you've had enough? What would your dad say? Tony's dad is a police officer, and Tony would be in for it if he was caught. To my surprise, he slams his fist down on the bar. My dad can go to hell. I hate him. His words strike home to me, and for a moment, I feel almost empathy for this boy I've grown to hate. Why? What's wrong? I ask, genuinely concerned. Tony puts his head in his hands. You wouldn't understand. Try me? I challenge back. Then it all comes out. He starts telling me how his mom and dad are big end-of-term party on Friday night, and Sam asks me to be his partner. I can hardly believe it. All week I spend getting ready. It's the event of the college year, and I want to look my best for Sam. Shona helps. She's so pleased for me and lends me a dress to wear. I have my hair and nails done, and by the time Friday comes, I can hardly wait. As I look at myself in the mirror, I can't help smiling to myself. The ugly duckling seems to be turning into a swan after all. Coming down the stairs, Dad sees me and stops, his eyes misting over. We've hardly spoken over the last few weeks. "Hey, Allie, you look gorgeous, just like your mom." He comes and hugs me, and it seems like the first father and daughter moment we've had since Mom died. Maybe we can work something out after all. Sam picks me up in his car, and I'm so proud. He even bought me a corsage and pins it proudly on my dress. The first person I see when we enter the sports hall is Tony. He looks smart, almost handsome, and something shifts in my heart. I guess that I'm just feeling sorry for him. He smiles, but because I'm with Sam, he doesn't come over. I notice there's no significant other on his arm, which is unlike Tony. It's a great night. We laugh and dance, but something's not right, and I find that at moments I'm looking around the room trying to see where Tony is. It's ridiculous, and I try and pull myself back to the moment. I'm with Sam Reeves, my dream date, but it's not enough. Towards the end of the night, I notice that Sam is distracted too. It's almost time for the last dance, and he seems agitated. "Allie, are you all right? Are you having a good time?" he asks me. I smile. "Of course, Sam. I'm having a great time." "Is that why you keep looking out for Tony?" he states. I shake my head, start to deny it, but what's the use? Sam has hit the nail on the head. Only one person has been on my mind all night. Tony Franklin. "I'm sorry, Sam. You've been so kind." He just smiles. "Well, I've got a confession. I've realized that I still love Anna, and I must go and find her. Would you mind?" I shake my head, almost relieved when Sam walks away. I'm alone again, just like before. I glance around the room, but Tony is still nowhere in sight. He's probably kissed half the female population already. I don't want to be here for the last dance, and I head for the cloakroom when a hand grabs my arm. "Hey, where are you going?" I turn around to see Tony. "I just bumped into Sam," he says. "You said you were looking for me?" Without another word, he leads me onto the dance floor as the slow and smoochy love song starts up. My heart is beating fast and my whole body tingles. So this is what love feels like when it finally comes. Tony reaches forward and kisses me. A slow, lingering kiss, and this time, I know it's for real. What do you think of my story? Has love come to you in an unexpected form? Feel free to share your comments below, and don't forget to subscribe.